Today, we're going to take a closer look at three semiconductor companies and some updates that have come out in the past few days. The first one we're going to take a quick look at is obviously Nvidia, my number one semiconductor company. We're going to look at some AI news here. Next, we're going to take a closer look at a memory company, Micron Technology. And finally, we are going to end the episode with Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing, obviously a huge player here in the semiconductor market. They are expanding in Germany, and also they just released their monthly numbers. So let's take a closer look in today's episode. Before we go any further, I do want to take a closer look at stock prices. I want to see how things are going. Right now, Nvidia in the past month is pretty much flat, sitting at $423. Year to date, the stock is up 196%. If we take a closer look at Micron today is down roughly 2%. In the past month is up roughly 4.8%, and year to date, the stock is up nearly 30%. Now, if we take a closer look at TSMC, it's up roughly 0.8% right now. In the past month, it is down roughly 5%, and year to date, the stock is up roughly 28%. So I want to start off with Nvidia, and kind of obviously, this is my favorite semiconductor company. We are hearing reports that China tech giants have ordered roughly $5 billion in Nvidia chips, including 100,000 A800 GPUs for 2023. We do see that, hey, Baidu, ByteDance, Tencent, and Alibaba plan to spend roughly $1 billion on chips that will be delivered this year and $4 billion on chips for 2024, the Financial Times reports. For the semiconductors due this year, it includes about 100,000 A800 processors. For those that are not familiar, NVIDIA has different flavor of GPUs for the Chinese market. They can't send the A100 or the H100 because it doesn't meet regulation controls that are made here in the United States. So they need to do kind of weaker down version, the A800 and the H800. We do have some Baidu employee told the Financial Times that without these NVIDIA chips, we can't pursue the training for any large language models. This right now, that saying alone, I do believe showcases a lot about the strength of NVIDIA chips right now. Another cool thing from this article, we do see that TikTok parent ByteDance already has 10,000 NVIDIA GPUs and has ordered almost 70,000 A800 chips to be delivered next year, worth about $700 million, the Financial Times reports. I think this is insane, right? We are seeing this huge demand for AI chips, especially for NVIDIA's H100, A100, and their kind of Chinese counterparts, the A800 and the H800. Unfortunately, right now, there's not enough supply to meet the demand. One of the main reasons is the overall back end of semiconductor manufacturing, which is advanced packaging. But we are hearing reports that Amkor is ramping up advanced packaging production capacity for their 2.5D technology. Hopefully, that can help out NVIDIA with some of their supply issues. We also hear TSMC is also doing it from their most recent earnings call, but we do see that right now the market is pretty high in demand, but supply is still kind of weak compared to the demand. Now, there are also some reports that came out about today that the U.S. bans future investments in Chinese AI, semiconductor, and quantum computing. So we are seeing a little bit more regulations. We're going to kind of follow this through. There's already plenty of regulations for AI chips. This is something that's just off the press recently, so we're going to have to take a closer look later on and maybe decide in a week from now to see how things are going to be impacted. Right now, it does seem like it's not as strong of regulations as many have expected. So maybe that's something to kind of keep in mind out. Before we go any further, guys, I do want to say thank you for the support. We just hit 27.1 thousand subs. I'm trying to hit 30,000 by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure to hit the subscribe button. I am huge into the semiconductor market, right? You guys know me from engineering in career-wise and obviously master's degree in education-wise. I love the semiconductor space. I do have a membership, click join, where I do weekly videos on different deep dives and different topics there. If you don't want to do that and just want to join some cool offer, I do have a special offer from the Motley Fool. Check out fool.com/Jose for a special offer there. And finally, maybe you don't want to spend any money, but you want to check out my free newsletter, go to josenaharo.substack.com, where I sent out a weekly newsletter of everything I talked about. Finally,
Finally, I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so the next topic I want to take a closer look at depends in the memory market here in the semiconductor space. And we do have an article from TrendForce that came out earlier in August that the new AI accelerator chips boost HBM3 and HBM3E to dominate 2024 market says to dominate the market, says TrendForce. So for those that are not familiar right now, this high bandwidth memory is what pretty much is used in a lot of these AI products. HBM2E is employed by Nvidia's A100, A800, AMD's MI200, and most cloud server providers self-develop accelerator chips. Now, kind of moving on to 2024, it does seem like we're moving into HBM3E products and HBM3. If you are familiar, for example, with NVIDIA's most recent Grace edition or Grace upgrade, it does include HBM3E, and the current edition, I do believe, includes HBM3. So we are seeing that the HBM3, which is used in NVIDIA's H100, H800, and AMD's MI300 series is in production right now, and we are seeing big manufacturer companies also start to sample HBM3E in Q1 of 2024. And for those that are excited about the next generation of NVIDIA, I forget what it's called, but NVIDIA's GB100, which is expected to set launch in 2025, is expected to be using kind of the HBM3E models. They do have a pretty cool image here to kind of showcase who are the big players in the memory market. Right now, for at least the AI space, there's really only 3 players. When we take a closer look at HBM2E, which is old news now, we see that Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron are big players here. If we take a closer look at HBM3, the market has been dominated by SK Hynix. They were the first ones to really bring it out in late 2022. Now we're seeing Samsung kind of expected to have it at the end of 2023. Micron didn't want to play with the HBM3. Instead, they're just jumping straight into HBM3E, and we can see the first 2 that are going to be in this is going to be SK Hynix and Micron sometime in the first half of 2024, followed by Samsung sometime in the second half of 2024. So pretty interesting if you are a memory market investor and you want to see where they are right now in AI memory. Now, the final company I wanted to take a closer look at is TSMC. They just reported their July 2023 revenue report, and we do see that there is a 13.6 increase for July 2023 versus June 2023. So that's great news. We're seeing some growth now back on a month-on-month basis. Unfortunately, it's still roughly 4.9% versus a year ago. Obviously, we're still seeing a bit of a weakness in the market right now. Year over year, from January to July of 2023 versus 2022, overall revenue is down roughly 3.7. I do believe this is pretty impressive, even though we are in kind of this crazy cyclical market in the semiconductor space. TSMC tends to be holding out pretty well if we take a closer look at kind of the full year to date at the moment. Now, the final thing I want to take a closer look from TSMC is yesterday or 2 days ago on August 8th, TSMC announced this joint venture to expand manufacturing in Europe. This joint venture is going to include a lot of different companies like Infineon, NXP, and other automotive makers, where they're kind of creating this company, ESMC, which is European Semiconductor Manufacturing. It's pretty much going to be a TSMC mainly holds it. They will own roughly 70% of this venture. The other players will hold 10% each, and the fab will be operated by TSMC. But TSMC in theory is bringing manufacturing to Europe. The manufacturing that they are going to bring to Europe, though, is mainly going to be for automotive chips. We know the European market is probably one of the big players in the automobile space, especially in the EV space outside of Tesla here in the United States. But I do believe this is going to be the case in the future, where maybe each region has a very strong a strong strength in certain chips. Here in the United States, right, we have the huge design of AI chips. Even though it doesn't get manufactured here, the strong design is definitely here in the States. Europe is very known for a lot of their strength in the automobile industry. So we can see TSMC is expected to kind of build out 28 and 22 nanometer chips in Europe, as well as 16 and 12 nanometers as well. So pretty interesting to see TSMC expanding outside of just their Taiwan locations. We know they are expanding here in the United States. So that's all the updates I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Take care, have a good day, and see you next time.